Nolan Patrick won't be at training camp. Is he done? Is he not? I mean, that intro is a little bit clickbaity, I'll be honest. No, he's not. All this talk about him being bust is ridiculous. Just ridiculous. For those who don't know, Nolan Patrick, second overall pick, by the way, didn't get off to the best start in his rookie season. The season after that did about the same. So he's got 30 points in his first year, 31 points in the next year. And then all of this season, he hasn't played a single game. He's had a really bad migraine disorder, which stopped him playing at the start of the season. And yeah, he's obviously not going to training camp at the moment. So the reason why I wanted to make this video separately than just the news video is there's, a lot of chatter online that he's bust or that he's done. I know a fair few people have sort of alluded to, is he finished? Has he played his last NHL game? Missing out a whole season, it doesn't mean that you're finished at all, and there's no indication from anyone within the Flyers organization that this is correct. Chuck Fletcher mentioned that the priority is just get him fully healthy and then back to playing at the start of next season. So there's a timeline there. There's a timeline of the start of next season is what they're aiming for, and I think they obviously weren't keen on him coming back yet. I know in April he was cleared to train properly, full training, but not clear for contact. So obviously during that time and now, he still hasn't been able to shake these migraines, but he did mention that this is the best he's felt in the last 12 months. At least that's what Chuck Fletcher said today. So yeah, he's definitely on the road to progress. It's just a slow process to try to figure out what, is causing them. If it's diet related, if it's, within the way everything all lines up, especially in the neck. I mean, there's a million ways that cause migraines. I know, I have family members, man, that dealt with that stuff for, 10, 15 years before they figured out what was triggering it. And obviously, these guys have got the best the medical professionals in the biz at their disposal, so that does help. But yeah, he hasn't been able to shake this yet, and there's no point rushing him for one season when you can get 15 years out of him. It just seems to be a really weird. It just seems like the narrative in the NHL, especially with its fans, is that we haven't really adjusted to head injuries yet. Oscar Lindblom, recovered from cancer and, took some time off, and I'm not equating one to the other, definitely not doing that, but that was obviously what a heroic effort to be able to come back from that, where have you had a migraine? It's not fun. And I'm not comparing it to cancer. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing it to that. I don't think we should have Migraine Awareness Month and all those sort of things, but it's terrible. It's not fun. I think I've had 2 in my life, and they flatten you. You cannot look at light. You're just done. And if you just keep getting them over and over again, it must be hell. So the fact that he's having to deal with his bust, what a bum. I think, it does sort of stem a little bit to his first 2 seasons, but I do think there's a good player there. I do think at least there's a 50 to 60 point scorer in a season there. So a good second, even amazing third line player right there. It's still, sometimes these guys take a little bit longer. So yeah, I do expect him to be back next year. In February he was even quoting to saying that he was looking to come back that season. He just didn't have a timeline, and obviously with everything going on, it just makes sense to get him fully right and make sure he's fully ready, so the team can use him, then instead of rushing this and this triggering again and this being a whole new year. At least that's what I think, and that's what I'm reading, but on the tea leaves in between there. So yeah, so the update is he's just, he's fully working out. So, that's something that's really positive. Hopefully he can make it back for the start of the season, which isn't too far away, by the way. And it will be a very condensed season too, so it's going to be a bit full on. There's no point rushing him if he's, it's a very quick training camp and it's very quick into the action that I just don't think he's ready for it. So I honestly think that's probably a bit of it too. Plus he hasn't played in a year. It's a long time to go playoff games. All that weird, round robin thing. It's very hard to go from haven't played in a year to just that level of it's now whenever it's do or die. I mean, it's just setting him up to fail, isn't it? Like, even injury aside, it's setting him up to fail. And yeah, it'll be great when he comes back. It will be absolutely great. Like, I mean, he's probably a short runner for the Masterson next year. Next year, if he comes back and has a good season. He's probably on there. I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, it's the story, right, already? Unless there's a hockey player that, you know, ran into a Tim Hortons and then he didn't do that for a whole year, so they gave him to him. That's a Ryan O'Reilly joke there. Because, you know, he ran into a Tim Hortons and then he didn't drink drive again and we gave him a Masterson award for that. Oh boy. So yeah, that's the whole video, guys. I just want to make a quick video about that just because there's a lot of chatter there and you know, you want to do the research and get everything there. So, looks like his timeline is for the start of next season. Looks like what they're aiming for, but obviously to get a full timeline, it's very difficult to do. But what do you think in the comments down below? I hope he comes back, even though I'm a massive Penguins fan and a massive Penguins shill. I do feel sorry for him from a player standpoint, and I feel sorry for the fans too. Like, you know, it sucks. Like, I do think there's a player there, and you know, deprived a year of that player, and I certainly hope he's not bust, and I don't think he is yet. I don't think we can have that conversation yet. Like, we're way too quick. I mean, the other video going up is about Brock Besser not being traded. And you look at Vancouver Canuck fans and they're like, oh, what a bust. They're 21. Like, there's so much history of players just having a slump year at some point. And you look back and you're like, oh, yeah. I remember like a few years ago we were saying Ovechkin was done. Like, that wasn't too long ago that it was like, oh, is he not the goal scorer? If it wasn't for COVID, like literally a worldwide pandemic, he would have scored 50 goals again. He would have done it. And it's just, we're way too quick of one season to say he's bust. Or, you know, even two. Yeah, a rookie year. I mean, he's still getting 30 points as a 20-year-old in the NHL. Like, it's not terrible. He's definitely a serviceable player that I think will be around for at least another decade, honestly. And, you know, they'll rue the day if they got rid of him, the Flyers. I think so. It's way too early for that. But yeah, like, I mean, just from a health standpoint, I hope you get well, Nolan Patrick. Because, I mean, you're definitely a subscriber of my channel and definitely watching this video, of course. So, what a dumb statement from me. Anyway, guys, if you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe. What do you think about Nolan Patrick down below? What do you think the Flyers' chances in this playoff? They're a bit of a wild card team, aren't they? They're a bit of an interesting one. You can go either way with them. Like, they could go deep. That's a team that can go deep. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you and bye.